to the NXTGEN Racing Legends Cup as we head around the Oschersleben circuit for what will be round number 2 in this championship. It was an absolutely hectic and amazing race. Set of races last time out 2 weeks ago when we went to Watkins Glen. Tonight should be no different, with a grid set and ready to get racing around the fantastic motorsport arena Oschersleben here in Germany. I hope you are all having a fantastic evening and you are enjoying these off-week races just as much as I am, as we prepare to watch these legends tear up yet another racing track. Last week out then, we headed to Watkins Glen, and what an evening of racing it was, with just spectacular side-by-side battles all the way through, drag racing to the timing line, and of course with a couple of safety cars. We are out here at Oschersleben and we stay in Germany for the next couple of weeks because we head to Nürburgring for round number 3. That's without the Mercedes Arena, so that'll be a really nice layout for these legends to head out on. At the start of March, we head to Okayama before going across to Portland as we return stateside for the second time in season number 4. We then head to the Italian countryside and Mugello for the short circuit on March 31st. And April will see us return to Germany with the Hockenheim Ring, the outer layout. It's going to be quick. It is going to be feisty. We then go across to Belgium and the Zolder circuit on April 28th. And then we head back stateside to go to Willow Springs in May before the season concludes. The week after the final round of the NXTCC, we will be heading to the Interlagos to get this championship all done and dusted as well. And for the first time tonight, and for the first time, welcome to the brand new broadcasting booth here on Joseph Wright Broadcasting as we bring you all of the NXTGEN Racing's Legends Cup series. We are very excited to have a new broadcast booth to bring you all of the wonderful racing, including a big setup here so I can catch everything as much as humanly possible in a one-man team. So we are looking for a great race tonight, and I'm looking back on the results from last week because there has been one change that we need to take note on, and that is for Stephen Bird. Stephen Bird was racing under the Pro-Am banner last week. He will be running under the Pro banner this week as he will be promoted straight away. He was up at those fights for the front of the class anyway. He finished second in the last race of the day. He won that Pro-Am category, but obviously now he's been moved to Pros. It means that Adrian Hernandez inherited the victory in the Pro-Am field in that last race of the day. Looking at your polls here then, Adam Delmont, a familiar name for you out there. He managed to put it on pole last week at Watkins Glen. Can he do the same here at Oschersleben? It's not looking like it is his strong track. He's a second off the pace right now, but that does place him in 4th position. A new name is at the top of the pecking order here in practice, and that goes to Hayden Bramley, who is currently in the Pro-Am field. But again, we could see changes to the classes as the season progresses. As we look down, there are a couple of other new names as well. George Stone stepping in for the first time today. Mark Stevenson will be stepping in for the first time as well. And I've just noticed a newcomer in there of Toby Cole. All of those are stepping into the Pro-Am field, but that can be adjusted over the next couple of weeks to see if well, to see if we have any domination like we did from Stephen Bird last week that got him moved up into the pros. Now, there are still spaces available for you to get down and join in with the Legends. Make sure you're heading across to the Discord for NXTGEN Racing, and you head down into the Legends section, and you can find the sign-up form there, and you can get down racing with our drivers as well. Now, looking at our championship standings, and let's have a little jump across to have a look at these championship standings, because they are one to dissect as we head into the second evening of the championship. Nick Clibbins had a very strong result last week, which meant that, well, it cost all 3 races, which means he leads the pro standings with 51 points. Now, if a driver is showing without a racing number, just a little tip for you guys, they are currently not in the session, which means with 10 minutes to go, they've got a small amount of time to jump in and get involved to make sure that they can continue to fight for the championship. But right now, our top 2 are not here, because second place goes the way of Stephen Bird, who was in the Pro-Ams. You can see why he's been moved up into the Pro Championship here, because he is sitting there with 45 points in your Pro Championship. Kieran Sharp is here today and is the one who is most likely to take the lead of the championship. Shall we scratch that, actually? Because we are in the Legends, which means that anything and everything will happen tonight, which means anyone could find their way to the front of the championship. Kieran Sharp at the moment, though, third position with 42 points, 2 points clear of Adam Delmont. Then behind is Jamie Dory, 35 points, a couple of points clear of Andrew Pike, who could have had a brilliant run last time out, but had a spin in a fight for the win. Isaac Doble went tumbling down the main straight in race number 1, getting caught up in a number of accidents, meant that he has only got 32 points on the board so far. Ned Warden sits in 8th position with 29 points, followed by Ben Oucher right now, and Jack Pitters rounds out the top 10 in the championship. It's Craig Twardock and Lee Horn at the back right now with 17 and 8 points respectively. We'll then have a look at the Pro-Am Championship. And that is being led again by a driver not here tonight, but of Sam Smith. 71 points to Smith out of Watkins Glen. He had a very strong evening of racing. Jonathan Berry was the next in line with 52 points, a couple of points clear of Nigel Stock. Now, they are going to have a really good opportunity here to do something with that one. It says that Alan McCain is not here tonight. He is here tonight. He sits in 4th right now in the championship. He is... actually, that's right. Ben Oucher is actually in. No, it's not Ben Oucher. Alan McCain is in 8th place in class, 17th overall. Actually, no, because Toby Cole is not marked in this class right now. So he's 9th in class as it stands. He is here, though. Couple of points separate Hernandez, Clough, and Wilson Weir. Then drops down to Matt Gatter. Phil McDougall will be looking to move up the order tonight. 9th in the championship ahead of Sam Bradley. Then we have Leslie Brazil, and then obviously some new names towards back there. And there you go, Alan McCain showing again. I'm not sure why he wasn't showing to the other one. It might just be that I've put in the wrong racing number. It does happen sometimes. Now, we are going to quickly update one of our class lists, because what I do notice, hopefully this won't pop up on your screen, but it probably will. It will indeed. Our class list, because we had a latecomer joining in here of Toby Cole, and I just want to make sure that Cole does in fact have a class to be racing with. He is in the Pro-Ams today, and I want to make sure that is displayed correctly on our overlays. So we will get that sorted. We might have to wait until race number 2 before that updates, however. Right then, we are going around then. Hayden Bramley is claiming total domination. Not too sure what to think about that. Talking over on the YouTube there, Max Andrews. Hayden Bramley is stepping in for the first time tonight. He's in the Pro-Am class at the moment. I don't think it is going to stay that way for too much longer, however, because Bramley is currently the fastest in this practice session, as we just have a little jump down and see some of our drivers out there. as we've got Adam Delmont here out of pit lane. He was the man that took pole position back at Watkins Glen. Can he do the same here at Oschersleben? That is the question. As you see on our standings there, Toby Cole is in the Pro-Am field. We will try and get that one fixed. Well, we will get that one fixed for race number 2. Of course, there are 3 races today that will be going on. Race number 1 will be set from the grid of qualifying. Race number 2 will be set from the race results from race 1 with the top 15 inverted, and race number 3 will be the whole field inverted for that one. It is also the longer race of the day, being approximately 10 minutes longer than the previous 2. Now, what it does mean is if drivers are able to stay no more than 1 lap down, we could see our drivers that have some bad races in the first 2 goes at it have a good opportunity in the 3rd and final race of the day, and that's certainly what we saw happening in the inverted grids back at Watkins Glen. Nick Clibbins taking the first win of the day, then went to Isaac Doble. After he barrel rolled down the pit lane on race 1, he managed to win race number 2. Had more issues in race 3 though, and that race 3 result went the way of Kieran Sharp, who won the last race of the day. Over on your Pro-Ams, you had Jonathan Berry winning the first race, Sam Smith winning the second, and Adrian Hernandez winning the third, but yet to get a repeat winner in either of the 2 classes, and that is very much because these cars lend themselves for just crazy racing that actually anyone can and does win in this series, and it is about being at the front right at the very end. And right now Adam Delmont and his teammate running around trying to do something here around the circuit, and that of course is Sam Bradley. This week we do have our safety car driver. Last week we went to the safety truck that dwarfed these cars in comparison. We do have our safety car out there today who will be driving around, and that obviously is the way of Gaza, who will be in the safety car, so we will see him getting out possibly throughout the evening, as Hayden for Pro definitely seems like a call that Jamie Dory will be making after this evening. There, Badman Manability over on Twitch, I'd welcome in. He is showing some absolutely astronomical pace here in the practice session. Will he be able to replicate it in the qualifying session is going to be the question. Ned Wharton right now also showing some good pace out there. He is second fastest in this one. It's showing overall results, and I once again will update that. We moved to a new broadcast booth, and everything is absolutely broken over here. As I try to fix things. Things always happen when you put some stuff together, so that's what we're dealing with, and we will get that all fixed on this back end, as we're watching a nice fight going on here in the practice session. This is with Ned Wharton. It looked like he had Jamie Doy with him as well, and he had Lee Horn, and then that also looked like Ben Oucher getting involved. So a nice mix of drivers here getting involved. There we go, we'll update that bottom bit for you. And it's John Berry over on the Twitch. Hello, John, over there. And you are doing quite well for your class as well. Obviously, you're the highest of the drivers here tonight in the Pro-Ams. It's Jonathan Berry there. But he is not fastest of the Pro-Ams at the moment. That goes the way of Hayden Bramley. But will we see another promotion for Bramley, just like we did for Stephen Bird going into this week as well? Of course, no Stephen Bird out there at the moment. That is off the circuit. There goes Lee Horn as we watch these fights going on. He pulls over to the side. Ben Oucher and Jamie Doy will continue fighting it up as we go into Shell Curve and Amman Curve. But qualifying here, coming towards an end, and we can sort of see what drivers are going to be able to do. The drivers will not have to worry about track limits in the race. They can go as far wide as they deem necessary, and just like we saw at Watkins Glen, obviously not as much runoff as we saw at Watkins Glen, but that doesn't stop drivers from taking to the gravel scene. But in qualifying, of course, they will need to keep it all clean to get a valid lap on the board over the timing line. This group of drivers goes, and we will call qualifying there and prepare ourselves for the qualifying session, because we have got an open qualifying session to set the grid for the first race of the day. 3 races heading your way. It is a field of over 20 drivers, and if you want to get yourself involved in this racing, make sure you head across to the NXTGEN Racing's Discord, head down to the Legends Cup section and go across to the sign-up page and the sign-up document for that one, and you can get yourself joined in for 2 weeks' time when we head back out in Germany, but at the Nürburgring. Right. Qualifying is underway here as drivers head themselves out for 15 minutes of open qualifying. Ben Oucher and Jamie Dory are the 2 drivers that will head out. Not at the very front, though. The very front of the field is Kieran Sharp. He was the first man jumping out of the pits to get started. Let's see if we can get our track map up for you to see where they are. Oh, what a brilliant track map. We actually cut half of the track map off. This is what happens, like I say, when we're trying to do wonderful things. Let's see if we can get that onto there for us. There we go. We've got a lovely track map to look at as we see where all of our drivers are as they head around the track, really. All of them showing an orange. I will fix that for next week, well, next time that we're out, so we can see the classes. But we do watch right now Kieran Sharp getting in his out lap. He will then push on for a first time lap of the session. How beneficial is it going to be in a train of drivers or to get the slipstream? Of course, you do have 2 long straights here, but you've also got a lot of bends where those slipstream, well, being behind a car is not going to help and might not overcome the effect of the slipstream. We ride on board here with Kieran Sharp out of the final turn and up towards the timing line. So for the first time tonight, let's see what a lap of Oschersleben looks like. Familiar to all of those on the iRacing service, as it is another rookie track. We go through turn number 1 and into 2 here. It gets tighter as we go through Hotel and swing all the way around. You push it out wide, try to keep it within track limits there in qualifying, and swing it back across to the right-hand side for turn 4 of Hasseröder. We close it in, try and get it close to the apex towards the exit of the corner. Exactly what Sharp does there, pushes it wide over that green tarmac, well, that green runoff on the outside. Move to the left, don't get it quite tight through the triple of 5. Onto the apex of 6 there, and 7. Get it heavy onto the brakes here for turn number 8. We often see cars making mistakes through the triple there. On the exit of 8, and we head up to the 910 chicane. You can push this right to that inside bollard before you go into McDonald's of turn 11 on to the back straight here. Again, this is one of the 2 straights where slipstream may be beneficial, but will it help you in the long run? Possibly not. We go into 12 of Shell Curve, and now into Amam Curve of 13. Very easy push wide there. You haven't got to worry about that tonight without track limits. Only got to think about it during this qualifying session. We go through Barrow Curve of 14 and onto the brakes as we go through the Zeppelin Curve, turn number 15. It doesn't feel like it, but it is more than a 90-degree bend. When you're down there on track, it certainly feels less than 90 degrees. Across the timing line goes Kieran Sharp there, and it will be a pole lap time for him as he was the first man across the line, but he does hold on to it as Dory and Oucher also put in lap times behind as more times go on to the board. Drivers will be just trying to get in some bankers at the moment. Slow laps for Doble and Delmont. Phil McDougall looking like a representative lap time within the Pro-Am field there. We come through. Hotel here of 3. Andrew Pike goes on the board. 4th, George Stone goes on the board, provisional Pro-Am sitter, until Toby Cole went into 5th as that provisional Pro-Am sitter right now. Isaac Doble and Adam Delmont, as I say, got some slow laps in on their first laps, but they are back out. Will we see the 65 machine barreling down the road again today, or will it be able to stay on all 4 wheels throughout the evening's races? That will be what Isaac Doble is hoping for, so that he doesn't have to worry about recovering the event as the evening goes on. He did not get a great race at Watkins Glen, and once again Doble and Delmont pulled to the side. This will not be yet another unrepresentative lap time from them both. We watch Lee Horn here in the number 36 machine on that NXTGEN Racing livery. See what he can do here as he pushes through the exit of 13. Very, very easy to get a off track there, which will impact your qualifying lap. We don't have to worry about it in the races. The number 36 comes through the final turn and up towards the timing line here, and will Lee Horn be able to place it in a nice strong position in that pro field? It was an invalidated lap for Lee Horn. He did run off the track just when he didn't mean to. Hayden Bramley has found his way to overall provisional pole position, as we were talking about before. Bramley is in that Pro-Am field, but it's his first race tonight in the league. We could see him promoted up to the pros the next time they head out, which will be at the Nürburgring in 2 weeks' time. We jump to have a little look at Nigel Stock here. Stock is running without a lap time on the board, but looking to place one in as he heads up towards shell curve of turn 12, gets it to the inside, will switch it across to 13, try not to push it out too wide, keeps it nicely within the confines of the racing track there, and into Bauer curve and up along towards Zeppelin now as we get heavy on the brakes, turn it in. We are going to see a lot of overtaking opportunities in this last sector as drivers will be running slightly wider, deeper, and just trying to keep it all together. We will be seeing a number of drivers escaping onto the gravel, I am sure, but Nigel Stock does not get a valid lap time in as Carl Thompson slides his way through Hotel there and has the 27 machine sitting just up ahead of him, and that 27 machine is Sam Smith. There you go. The leader of the Pro-Am Championship actually had a really good run at Watkins Glen. He's currently running around without a lap time on the board as well. 16 lap times on the board at the moment. We are still awaiting 5 more. That comes with 1 pro of Lee Horn, the rest of them in the Pro-Ams. We've got Berry, Stock, Thompson and Smith all looking to try to get their way into a lap time that places them somewhere decently on the grid. Isaac Doble, after backing out a number of times, has found a very representative lap time and places himself on provisional pole position ahead of Hayden Bramley, which means right now Isaac Doble, who won the last of these fun leagues in the Mazdas, is running around the provisional pole. He needs some good results if he is to move up the championship order. As we watch Adam Delman, it looked like he touched grass. Well, he did touch grass there. It was not an off track though for Delmont, so this lap is very much still valid as he's pushing on hard in the 37 machine. He's got Jack Pitters behind looking to try and gain a bit of a distance tow, and that is a really good sort of distance to have between a driver. You're not getting held up in the corners and you're getting the tow on the straights. What could Delmont do on this one as he comes across the line? Will it beat the 39.7? It will not beat the 39.7. Ned Wharton, however, puts in a faster lap of a 39.227 before he pulls over to the side, and it is 5 thousandths of a second off of Ned Wharton at the moment. There are some excellent intervals between some of our drivers out there at the moment. Ben Oucher himself is only 1/100th of a second off of Andrew Pike. They sit they sit 9th and 10th in this one. Nigel Stock is only 11/100th of a second off of William Kurtler in 16th and 17th position. Alan McCain there, 53/100th of a second off Nigel Stock. So actually the three of them separated by less than a 10th of a second from 16th to 18th as Ben Oucher slams it hard into the wall there. We watch Toby Cole heading around at the moment as he heads into the triple. And that's 5, 6 and 7. Heavy on the brakes for 8 here. Running around at the moment 4th in the Pro-Am field. So looking to get a strong start to his league in the Legends as well as with Bramley. George Stone will be looking for a strong start to his league as well. He sits 13th, and Mark Stevenson moves up into 16th position right now. We're just waiting for lap times from Matt Gatter, who's just jumped in as well. So we'll see Gatter out there momentarily to put some lap times in. And Lee Horn is waiting to put in a lap time. That being said, as Horn places in a lap time, Hayden Bramley just behind finds even more time out there and places himself onto provisional pole position. Right now, the pros finding themselves in the top 11 spots, separated only by Bramley and Bradley, as Cole goes third fastest in the Pro-Am field. William Kurtler moves up into 14th overall. We've got about 4 minutes left of qualifying here. That's another 2-3 laps even for drivers to get their lap times on the board and see if they can move up any additional positions for race number 1, which is going to be extremely tight, especially into turns 1 and 2, into that really what has been deemed in commentary before as the world's worst corner. I'd argue there are worse corners, but it certainly isn't the nicest. It is a lot nicer nowadays than it used to be, however, with the left-hander originally being a 90-degree bend. It is now a lot smoother, of course, for our drivers, as Bramley continues to try and find time out there. He gets past Lee Horn on the racing track as well. 3 minutes left on the board here as Bramley comes through the final turn and up towards the timing line. Of course, they will have rolling starts for this event. They won't be running around with from a standing start, which can be really tricky in these oval-based machines. Instead, they will get themselves rolling along the back straights, and then they will get started when the lights go green after they exit Zeppelin curve of 15, who Mark Stevenson is exiting now in his number 16 machine to come across the line. He's currently 18th fastest in this session. Can he find any time out there? Talking about finding time, as Stevenson does improve, so does Jonathan Berry. He moves third in class right now and is only 35/100ths of a second off of Sam Bradley ahead of him. So very close at the moment between Berry and Bradley, fighting for second in class, what could turn in to first in class if Hayden Bradley is in fact promoted to pro, which is looking likely with the sort of pace that he has shown in practice and now in this qualifying session as well. As we watch Barry kick the rear end out there as he exited turn 8 through the 9-touch chicane. Again, you can push it to that inside as close as you can to the inside marker, and if you do that, It stays within track limits and you don't get a slowdown, which means you can push a nice and fast, really limit the trajectory of the chicane, carry as much speed as possible out of it, and increase significantly your speed as you head through McDonald's. That was an improvement for Sam Smith, I believe, into 14th position overall. That is 5th in class right now. And Matt Gatter is out there getting started on his qualifying. He will not get a lap time in, which means Gatter will be starting from the rear of the field with no practice out there, but that's okay. I'm sure that he'll be able to find some pace through the 3 races that we are preparing to run tonight as drivers come across the line to finish their qualifying laps. We watch Andrew Pike here. Andrew Pike 10th overall at the moment and looking to try and move a little bit further up the order to help his championship fight. As we watch him come through the 9 and 10 chicane into McDonald's, and now on to the back straight. That's a big old wobble for Pike though, and we do get it sorted. Good evening over there in the Twitch chat for Sammy Aribo. Good evening to you. I hope you are having a wonderful evening, and of course to Roger and Angie over on Facebook as always. I hope you are also having a fantastic Tuesday as we ride on board right now with Andrew Pike as he comes through with a big wobble again for Pike. These cars are very tricky to get a hang of, as that was the pole man of Hayden Bramley spinning it, showing the difficulty of these machines. They are not the simplest of machines to drive, and with that being said, qualifying will come to a close here as drivers come to finish their timed laps, and we will see where they are going to start race number 1 of the night here. The only thing that I'll update you on if you've just stepped in as we get started for race number 1, Toby Cole is in the Pro-Am field. That is the field with the white numbered backgrounds. However, due to him being a late entry into the server, I have not been able to update that in time for race number 1. It will be updated for race 2, and it will show you a white background instead of the yellow background it currently has. With that being said then, qualifying is done, so let's have a look at what the grid is going to look like for race number 1 of the day. Hayden Bramley will start this one from pole position ahead of Isaac Doble, who will start alongside him on the front row of the field. Ned Wharton will start in 3rd position ahead of Adam Delmont. Jack Pitters will start in 5th, and Kieran Sharp will start this one in 6th position. 7th will go the way of Jamie Dory ahead of Sam Bradley. Jonathan Berry will start in 9th position ahead of Andrew Pike. Ben Oucher will hold on to 11th position on the grid ahead of Lee Horn. 13th went the way of Mark Stevenson ahead of Toby Cole. Sam Smith will start this one in 15th ahead of George Stone. Nigel Stock will start in 17th, and William Kurtler in 18th position. 19th position went the way of Alan McCain. 20th for Phil McDougall. 21st for Carl Thompson. And Matt Gatter was not able to put in a qualifying lap time, which means that he officially starts from 24th position. But what it will mean is he will start behind Phil McDougall in that right lane, and therefore can move up into that 22nd position starting spot. Like I said, this will be, as far as I'm aware, a rolling start. Let's get us down onto the grid then to confirm that. Yes, it is in fact a rolling start, as they are going to do a full lap here around the Oschersleben circuit before the start of this one, which means that drivers will get a ample opportunity to warm their tyres up, to get themselves ready and to get racing for race number 1. It's going to be 10 laps on the board in this first race of the day. It'll be the same for race number 2. and then we'll be looking at about 14 laps, I believe, for the third and final race of the day. Just waiting for the last of our drivers to grid up here in qualifying and get themselves started. But it was Hayden Bramley, who is officially right now in the Pro-Am class, who was able to take pole position. And that is the, once again, we are yet to see repeats anywhere. We're yet to see a repeat pole sitter, a repeat pro winner, a repeat Pro-Am winner, or even a repeat overall winner. At the moment, it is just going for new drivers every time. Will it be the same here in the second round of asking as we head out for the first of 3 races today around the Oschersleben circuit? And hello there to John as well over on the Twitch. I hope you are also doing well as we prepare for racing here around the Oschersleben circuit. 15 corners and a circuit that is well known to iRacing newcomers because it is one of the circuits that rookie racers take part in. In fact, it is where I was able to get a lot of experience in a Mazda and a Formula V, and it is a track that I feel is always welcoming of some good hard racing. Will that be the case today? I can already say yes, it will. How are we going to go into turn number 1 and 2? Of course, that complex at the beginning of the lap, extremely, well, complex. It is tricky, and we are going to be rolling on a rolling start, which means that some drivers are able to just get themselves started a little bit quicker. We could find ourselves 2, maybe even 3 wide going in towards turn number 1. Drivers are getting their tyres warmed up a little bit off the grid there as we pull away to get started on our formation lap here at the Oschersleben circuit. They speed underneath our camera there. It was a ball header towards turn number 1, being led, of course, by Hayden Bramley. Here they are going down towards the start of the course, and drivers bunching up. You want to be careful here that you're not knocking other drivers, getting yourself damage on your formation lap. And what we do see is sometimes some drivers just backing off a little bit, as that is a big old slide there going on from Jack Pitters as he was trying to find a way to warm up his tyres. There's a lot of weaving going on towards the back of the field and in that midfield as well. But most of your pros there just running around, not worrying too much right now about warming up tyres or doing anything with them, as we see Isaac Doble. He's warming up his tyres in a slightly different way, accelerating and getting heavy on the brakes. Also warms up your brakes that way as well, and make sure that we are ready for turn number 1. 22 cars prepare to get themselves down onto the racing track for the first race of the day. If you want to get involved with these races, then head across to the NXTGEN Racing Discord channel, scroll down to the Legends section, and you can find the sign up document to get yourself involved for the 3rd week of asking, which is in 2 weeks' time at Nürburgring. 10 rounds in this championship, of course. And Hayden making excuses after qualifying, as usual, over there from Max on the YouTube. He did a very strong qualifying lap. Let's see if he is able to replicate that as we head up towards the start of race number 1. That pace truck making these cars look like toys as they head around the Oschersleben circuit. Turn number 1 is going to be tight. It is going to be difficult for our drivers to really find any sort of clean way through, but I'm sure if anyone's able to do it is this group of drivers. We head towards the end of the lap here and prepare to go racing as we head for 10 laps of the Oschersleben circuit. We come through the penultimate turn. The pace truck is going to move to the left, and it will be in the hands of Hayden Bramley. He cannot accelerate before the green lights come on, though. And here they come out of the final turn to prepare to go. Green flag racing here at Oschersleben, as the green flag will be waved. We head down towards turn number 1 to see what can go on, and it is already 3 wide. 4th position. Bramley goes defensive, can get back to the racing line. Doble will hold the inside over Ned Wharton. Wharton stays there though, and that was a car onto the gravel in the background there. They all get through the opening corners though without incident, as they get through cleanly. I think a couple of cars escaping into the gravel at turn number 1 to avoid any contact, but for the most part, all the cars, it looks like, have faced the right way until turn number 4, when Phil McDougall has gone around. This is a tricky part to the course as well, getting through the triples and then onto the brakes for the hairpin, but it looks like everyone has got themselves sorted into their racing order, as George Stone gets past Alan McCain there for 14th position overall. It'll be 5th in class. We head through McDonald's now and onto the back straight. We look once again towards the front of the field because Isaac Doble is looking to try and take the lead up the inside of Hayden Bramley. No track limits to worry about here, so how hard are we going to push all the way there to the gravel? Doble's still there. It's side by side between Wharton and Sharp behind, but Isaac Doble will have the inside line through Bauer Curve and up and through Zeppelin as well, but the speed that Bramley is able to hold on the outside might just give him that position and let him stay in the lead of this race. It certainly has. Ned Wharton now pushing Isaac Doble. That was Kieran Sharp jumping to the left-hand side to push Bramley, but Doble gets the overlap towards turn number 1. A huge slide there from Adam Delmont into the braking zone, but he keeps it facing the right way, and it will be Isaac Doble out front as Wharton tries to follow him through. Bramley will stay on the inside as we head up towards Hasserode here. It's side by side for Wharton and Bramley. Bramley keeps it on the inside line though, and Ned Wharton will try to hold it on the outside as we go to the triples. If you're able to stick it on that outside line through the triples, you can help yourself out into the hairpin. However, Hayden Bramley gets the inside of Doble and just says, yeah, well, I'll have this, and here comes Wharton to the inside of Doble. It's a bit too adventurous. Doble holds onto it there, has a slide on the exit, and Adam Dalmont, a slight tap with Sharp, collected by his teammate. A couple of cars involved in that one, including Lee Horn, but they all face the right way again. Dalmont down a number of positions following that little bit of contact though, as we're back towards the front, and Hayden Bramley has gained a bit of space here over Isaac Doble. Will not have to worry about him too much into the final 2 corners. This lap in the towards the rear of the field, we now watch Nigel Stock here. He's sitting 30th, that's 5th in the Pro-Am class, and just seeing a train of drivers in front of him as well. William Gertler at the back of this very, very close train. You can just see all these drivers oh so close, as here goes Kieran Sharp, 4nd position. Doble getting pushed by Wharton there. Sharp will have the inside into turn number 1. It switches across, and Isaac Doble will hold on to that position. Ben Oucher looking to try and get the outside of Jamie Dory. Dory will hold it, and here comes Lee Horn, and around goes Oucher. Was there contact there, or did he lose it on his own? I'm not sure, but Oucher falls down the order here and will need to recover after that one. Let's have a quick look at what happened to Oucher here. It was all on his own for Ben Oucher that sent him spinning, which is a real shame for him. I'm just seeing if we can see this Delmont instant from lap number 2, but it's not coming up as an instant. That's how much it apparently didn't happen. Here we go. This is Sam Bradley, but let's jump across to Adam Delmont up ahead. There's the slightest of touches with Kieran Sharp, and you can see just how easily it unsettles the car there. Pittas gets past Wharton for 4th position, and Kieran Sharp here is all over the rear end of Isaac Doble, looking to try and take second position in this one. Hayden Bramley has pulled a 1.5 second advantage out at the front of this field as we go through Zeppelin curve there with 10 minutes. That's the wrong thing that we want to see. Let's fix that for you so that we can see how many laps we've got. Oh no, it is a timed race. It is a timed race. I forget. It's a timed race. Wait a minute, this is a timed race? It's a timed race, apparently. I thought it was laps. It's timed. It's 15 minutes. Okay, Kieran Sharp running around in third. That's how good I am at remembering things. Okay, Alan McCain, though, is running around in 16th position, trying to chase down his teammate of Sam Smith there, running in 6th. That's Toby Cole, one of our newcomers, guys, doing well in 14th position as well as it stands. But most of those battles just settling themselves down for now. Kieran Sharp chasing down Isaac Doberhuit onto the brakes of turn number 8. They've got Pittas just behind as well, looking to try and get involved in this fight for second position. Currently being led by Isaac Doble. Matt Gatter had issues earlier on in the race, has had to start, he's driving quite far back. This is the opening lap of the race. There was a big old slide for Gatter there and lost him a significant amount of time. He then went on to have another issue just last lap, and it was turn number 1. These cars are tricky to drive, and Gatter just wasn't able to get into the session at the beginning to get some practice laps in, so he is having to do practice here in race number 1. Hopefully we'll find some pace as the evening progresses and the races progress here. As we come up towards the timing line, across we go, Kieran Sharp. Is he going to push Doble here? It certainly looks like he is. It looks like they're going to work together to try and catch up to Hayden Bramley. Behind there is Ned Wharton, looking to try and get past Sam Bradley here. Bradley second in the Pro Anfield. Wharton currently 7th overall, will get past Bradley on the exit as Bradley runs slightly wide there, loses a little bit of time on the exit, giving Wharton just that overlap. This is back to second, and it certainly is. Just some gentle nudging there to try and push Doble towards Hayden Bradley at the front. Not sure how long that alliance will last for, as we're about halfway through this race already. That was Alan McCain, though, getting past William Kirtler. Kirtler touches him on the rear and goes around, and somehow Sam Smith avoided that one. I don't know how Smith managed to avoid that accident. There's the spin. Smith just goes out slightly wider and he gets away with it. No contact for Smith, and it does mean that William Kirtler found himself falling just that extra position. Wharton now also returning position back past Pike as he continues to try and move up the order. Pike, though, looking potentially to try and get the way back through. How did that originally happen, though? It's happened along that back straight, and it was just a jump to the inside there that's allowed that move to play out. We come up towards the timing line once more, and Wharton has returned to 5th position, started this one in 3rd position, of course, so wanting to get back up the order if he's able to. Those gaps at the front, they've opened up just a little bit through turn number 1, but they are still working together to try and catch up to Hayden Bramley, but that gap is not closing down. William Kirtler getting overtaken there by Jonathan Berry, potentially also by Mark Stevenson here as we head out of turn number 3 and up towards Hasselrode. If he's able to do anything with that one, it doesn't look like he is at the moment, but Stevenson will hold on to that spot for now, and relatively close to the drivers in front of him, so he knows there is still opportunity to make the moves past. 5.5 minutes left on the clock here as we see Matt Gatter down pit lane. It also looks like we might have lost Ben Oucher from this one as well. Carl Thompson is running at the back of the field right now, though still out there on the track, as Toby Cole is having a bit of a fight here. He does seem to be blinking a little bit as well, which I think is why my timing showed that there was an overtake. What has happened to Gatta then that's caused him to go down pit lane? It looks like it's just another slide for Gatta, and he is struggling significantly with that car. As this, you can see a huge train of drivers up here ahead, and it is Andrew Pike right now pushing Ned Wharton. Are they going to try potentially to find their way up towards the leading four in this race, or is Pike just wanting to stay behind until the last possible opportunity here? Because at that point, Wharton might not be able to get his way back through. Jamie Dory, however, has just been able to get past Lee Horn through the exit of Hotel and move up into 7th position as this train of drivers continues to run around, and it includes the man who went around on lap number 3 on what was the biggest accident of the race so far. It was Adam Delmont. He is recovering though, and is in this train once more that goes all the way up to P6 in this race of Andrew Pike, I would say. Yes. No, P5. It goes all the way up to Ned Wharton, actually, really. They're a little bit of a distance ahead of Jamie Dory, but that opportunity is there if they work together. Now, of course, we're coming up to about 3 laps to go here, and that gap at the very front is actually open. Bramley is finding time out there where Doble and Sharp just aren't. So surely, within a couple of laps, we're going to see Pittas and Sharp here try to get past Isaac Doble. And it'll either be fantastic racing or it will be another sorrowful race for Isaac Doble. He'll be hoping for the former, as here comes Pittas to the inside of Sharp up towards turn number 1. It's going to force Sharp to run deep through the exit here, and Jack Pittas gets to the inside. They are running side by side. Pittas drops back behind though, and Sharp will remain ahead for now. But you can see things are getting racy behind as drivers try to figure this one out. And as we get towards the end of this race, they are really going to be going hard to try and gain any last position they can. Isaac Doble now 2 seconds off of Hayden Bramley, who is absolutely dominating this race at the moment. Sam Smith and Alan McCain swap positions in 14th and 15th. We're watching the fight just behind them at the moment, as this is the fight for 17th position between William Kirtler, Mark Stevenson and Phil McDougall, trying to get involved just behind here as well. Right now, looks like he is struggling a little bit, and this is how the pass ahead went for McCain, and it's because McCain spun around and was off the track. He managed to get it going pretty quickly, but he was overtaken by his teammate before he was able to straighten it out and get racing once more. As we watch here, Mark Stevenson going to the inside of William Kirtler up towards Shell Curve, and he manages to do it, and he stays ahead there as we come through, as Kieran Sharp moves past Isaac Doble on the main straight. Doble will keep it on the inside though for turn number 2 into Hotel now. Pittas trying to follow Doble on that inside line and leaves Sharp hung out to dry. It won't quite work out there. Doble goes defensive. All 3 drivers go to that tighter inside line there, just trying to get everyone else to do something different. Nothing different happening there. With 1 minute left on the board, I think next lap will be white flag. It hasn't come out on my timing yet, but that doesn't mean that this isn't white flag, but it does look like Hayden Bramley will be able to tick over just 1 more lap here, as we've got 14 more seconds. Actually, it could be rather close, which could be why we saw Sharp go for that move. 30 seconds on the board, and Bramley is coming now into the final sector. Here goes Kieran Sharp to the outside of Shell Curve. It will turn to the inside, and here comes Pittas, as Sharp will now have to keep it ahead of Pittas and not Doble. Doble falling to 4th. Are we going to see the checkered come out? I think we might. as we come up towards the final turn. We certainly do. And here goes Pittas to the inside of Kieran Sharp. It's a slide, and that's going to invite Isaac Doberlin over the grass to try and do something. He can't do it. Battles behind. Wharton stays ahead of Pike as other drivers just try to get to the line. As Nigel Stock will come over behind Toby Cole there. Another close fight. Barry chasing down McCain through the final turn. That won't turn into anything. And Phil McDougall, the man who comes out on top in the end between McDougall, Stevenson and Kertler. Only just though in a race to the line. But what an opening race that was. It kicked off right towards the end as we expected it would. Let's have a look then at our results here from the first of 3 races today. And it was Hayden Bramley who found his way to race victory by 4 seconds ahead of Kieran Sharp. Jack Pittas came home in 3rd, and Isaac Doble crossing the line just off the podium in 4th position in the end. Ned Wharton then came home in 5th position ahead of Andrew Pike and was able to hold him off as Jamie Dory came home in 7th, Adam Dalmont in 8th, Sam Bradley came home in 9th ahead of Lee Horn. We then saw George Stone coming home in 11th ahead of Toby Cole. Then it was Nigel Stock and Sam Smith. Alan McCain in 15th ahead of Jonathan Barry and Phil McDougall. Mark Stevenson came home in 18th ahead of William Kertler. And Carl Thompson came home in 20th. Back of the field, Matt Gatter finished 4 laps down, and Ben Oucher 5 laps down in the end of that one. But what it does mean is officially right now in the pro standings, Kieran Sharp is the first double race winner. I doubt that will stand though, because that will surely go the way of Hayden Bramley, because he will be promoted to pros at the end of this one, no doubt, which means that Sam Bradley, who was 2nd in the Pro-Ams, most likely to win that class, which once again would go for new winners all round. Right then, race number 1 is done here. Before we get across to our break and prepare for the second race of asking, we will see if there is someone that we can have a word with at the end of that one, and we will have a word. We will pull down Ned Wharton here, and Ned, you managed to take home a top 5 at the end of that one. You had some good fighting, but it was a bit of a recovery drive for you.
Yeah, it was a bit of a recovery drive. Got a decent qualifying, and then I kind of fell back at the start. I cut the rear tyres, so that didn't help. So yeah, that made me fall down the field a little bit. But then I managed to pick it up by the end and get a decent result in the end.
Do you feel like you've learned it a little bit? Of course, these cars are quite tricky, but you'll be starting in 10th in the next race. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, it will obviously be a harder job to do, seeing that I started on the 2nd row of the grid for the first race. Now I've got a lot of overtaking to do. So we'll see how that works. But hopefully everyone keeps it clean, and then that will help.
I say it was a really clean race, number 1, I would say. Just one major incident at the front of the field on the 3rd lap, which I think surprised me in the booth, probably surprised those watching. How did it feel for you out there, that the fact that it was quite a clean race?
It was intense. It probably didn't look like much, but yeah, I was trying to keep up with the front guys. They were really quick. Yeah. I don't know how they were extracting that pace from the car, but yeah, it was very intense, that race. I was getting pressured a lot as well by Andrew behind, but I managed to keep it fairly clean, so I'm happy with myself for that.
Excellent there, Ned, and good luck for the next 2 races. Hopefully you'll be able to move yourself back up the order again.
All right, thank you very much.
Ned Wharton there coming home, race number 1 in 5th position there as we prepare for the next race. And looking over on the Facebook over here, before we go to break, can we say hello to Liam and Shannon watching in Doncaster? Of course we can. Good evening to you both, and I hope you are having a fantastic time watching the Legends here as we welcome you once again to our brand new broadcasting booth that we can bring you all of the racing action. And over on the YouTube there, I can see the comment about the Discord link not working. I will have a little look at that during our break as well and see if we can get something sorted. But we are going to head to break though. Don't go anywhere because we've got the second race of the evening coming your way. The top 15 are going to be inverted, which means that we are going to see Alan McCain start race number 2 from pole position. We'll be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back here to Oschersleben for race number 2. Apologies for the slight delay in the return there. We have fixed the Discord issue on the invite side. We just need to get those links published, so I'll be looking at doing that between race 2 and 3 over on the Facebook, so we do apologise for that, as well as on the YouTube and on the Twitch as well. We'll get that all out there and sorted. We prepare ourselves then for the second race of the evening here around Oschersleben. It was a very dominant race victory for Hayden Bramley in race number 1, but this time he is not going to be starting from the front of the field. Oh no, he is going to be starting from 15th place, as we see the top 15 from race number 1 flipped around on its head, and we will be going with 15th place on pole position from Alan McCain, and our winner of Hayden Bramley going to start from 15th position. Those outside the top 15, they're going to get another opportunity in the inverted grid for race number 3, which will see the whole field, as long as they are no more than 1 lap down, be inverted, which means even if you finish this one at the very back of the field, you still have an opportunity to start race number 3 from the front and get a great result from your evening's worth of racing. But race number 2 is about to come your way, as warm-ups a couple of minutes away here from ending, and we are looking at a fantastic track once more. What we saw from race number 1 is there's going to be a lot of drivers just waiting for those last moments around this track. It's Watkins Glen. We saw drivers being able to slipstream and overtake, and it was constant changing of positions. Here at Oschersleben, there are a lot of opportunities to be able to take those overtakes and make those moves, but do you want to take them earlier on in the race when you potentially could lose it out again? Now, of course, we saw 9 laps of racing in race number 1. Will we see another 9 laps of racing in race number 2? I'm sure we will. And then race 3 is our longest race of the day. Almost double the length, not quite double the length, but almost double the length of the previous 2. 15 minutes for the first 2 races, 25 for the third, means that the inverted grid, the full inverted field, has a big opportunity to make their way back through the field and towards the front. But with an inverted grid, as always, you're going to see drivers just eager to make their way through. They've just finished really well in first, second, third, and now they're starting 15th, 14th, 13th. They're going to want those podiums again. They're going to be looking for a way through. We're not going to see drivers take it as easily and as simply as we did in that first race, because what we will get is drivers moving through towards the front of the field as quickly as they can, so that they are in a prime position to take a strong result towards the end and not have to fight and overtake 4, 5, 6 different people during that race. Right, we are preparing for this one then, as we've got 22 seconds left on the field. Let's get ourselves down, and we will prepare for the race. Of course, we cannot see the grid until they find themselves out there on track in the race session, so we'll just have to wait for just a moment's more time as we see them heading around this wonderful German countryside. Now, we go to Germany 3 times this season for Oschersleben, Nürburgring, and then later in the season Hockenheimring as well. So this is going to be a really strong one. As warm-up comes to a close here, we're about to grid up, so we can talk us through the grid order in just a moment's time here. As I just tried to sort something out there, and we are going to have a look then at the grid for this one around the Oschersleben circuit for race number 2. Alan McCain will start this one from the front of the field after finishing race 1 in 15th position. Sam Smith will start in 2nd ahead of Nigel Stock, and Toby Cole will be in 4th position. Fifth position goes way of George Stone. Lee Horn will start in sixth position for this one. Seventh will go the way of Sam Bradley, ahead of Adam Delmon, who was able to recover quite well in race number 1. Jamie Dory came home in 9th position ahead of Andrew Pike. Ned Wharton crossed the line in 11th, and Isaac Dober will start. Sorry, Ned Wharton will start this one in 11th. He didn't cross the line in 11th. And Isaac Dober will start in 12th position. 13th will be Jack Pitters. Kieran Sharp from 14th, and Hayden Bramley, after winning race number 1, will start this one from 15th. Jonathan Berry just missing out on the invert there in the Pro-Am field. We'll start this one from 16th place ahead of Phil McDougall in 17th and Mark Stevenson in 18th position. William Kirtler will start in 19th ahead of Carl Thompson, and Ben Oucher will be the last man on the field in 21st position. We do not see Matt Gatter return to the track for race number 2. Right, drivers, we'll prepare to get rolling in just a moment's time here around the circuit, and it looks like this race is lapped. This one has laps to it. It is 9 laps on the board. I'm glad I had a look there. So 9 laps for definite here in race number 2. It was the length of the first race, but that is a confirmation that we will be getting 9, and we won't be stretching for lap number 10. Okay, the safety truck is at the front of the field and preparing to get going here for the second time tonight, as the drivers will get their engines all nice and warmed up, and they'll have a lap of Oschersleben to get their tyres and their brakes warmed up as well. Away pulls the pace car, and there are our 2 leaders, the 2 teammates, Alan McCain and Sam Smith, on the front row of the field as we head down towards turn number 1. Some drivers trying to get their tyres warmed up off the line there. Some of them just taking a nice easy start from the line as well. Now Ben Oucher having some, it looked like, potential connection issues for Ben Oucher in race number 1, because he ended up down pit lane much earlier than he would have been hoping for, and really you don't hope to be down pit lane until the very end of the race, but he is back, of course, from the second race. But he will be starting from the very rear of the field, and that means he has got to get past 6 Pro-Am drivers before he even starts to touch the Pro field at the very front of this one. As we continue to watch the drivers heading around, then we'll jump back towards the front of the field as we've got the about half of the lap to go as we exit out of Hassan Roda there and up towards the triple. Relatively sensible in race number 1, I would say. Of course, we had that one major incident, and I'm gonna say moderate. I wouldn't even call it major. I would call it moderate, with Adam Delmont's spin that then caught up a couple of drivers in that one, but nobody having race-ending damage. No really having too much damage out of that one. Which is in stark contrast to the Watkins Glen event, of course, 2 weeks ago. Will race number 2 be as similar here, is the question that I am going to ask. Are we going to see a very similar style of racing here, sit behind and wait for the end to make the moves, or are we going to see those drivers who've been involved in the invert try to push their way through the fields early doors? Turn number 1 and 2 was all clean. The first time we saw a car around in race 1 was through Hassan Roda of 4. Will we see it earlier in race number 2, or are we going to see more sensible driving? Have our drivers learned from the carnage and chaos that was Watkins Glen? I certainly think they have. A very different style of race course here today, and of course those parts of courses that you want to run wide, no track limits in effect here, you want to be able to run wide, well, you can't really do it here around the Oschersleben circuit. You've got too much gravel. Right, the race leader takes control of the pace in the form of Alan McCain. As the pace truck pulls off, we see the green flag to the side. We'll wait for it to be waved, And away we go, and it's already a spread of drivers behind. As we go up towards turn number 1, it's 3 wide, and it is Toby Cole who moves into the lead. It is 4 wide into turn number 1, and it is 2 teammates who come together, and around we go. A big collection, and that's the 16 of Mark Stevenson rolling another car on their roof there. It is Hayden Bramley, the race 1 winner, on his roof on the opening lap of asking here. We knew it was going to be a bit more of a hectic run around the circuit, but 2 cars out on the opening lap. Hayden Bramley and Mark Stevenson upside down in through turn number 1. Ben Oucher from the rear of the field moves into 8th position as he overtakes Ned Wharton. What an opening lap for Ben Oucher as we continue on through the chicane here of 9 and 10 into McDonald's, and for the most part now, drivers find themselves settled down, single file, but here comes Kieran Sharp to look up the inside of Sam Smith into turn number 12. Smith will look back up the inside but doesn't quite have the door to make that move there, but side by side ahead, and Adam Delmont moves into 2nd position overall now and is looking to try and do better than race 1 when he found himself facing the wrong way, and that was Andrew Pike around at the final turn, and it was all on his own, losing the rear end, and the car just got sent around there for Pike. As Adam Delmont holds on to McCain, can Sharp try and make this move now? It's side by side behind as well as Ben Oucher gets to the inside of George Stone and now has Nigel Stock in front of him to try and make the move through up yet another position, as he has had what I would class as a world-class opening lap there. But Ned Wharton is looking to do something about it. He gets past Nigel Stock, and Wharton is now just chasing down as we watch over on YouTube there. We've got Mikey Dover watching over there. Some drivers just run out of talent into turn 1. It certainly looked like it. We'll have to have a catch-up on turn number 1 very shortly. But for now, it looks like we have all settled it down on the opening lap. So let's jump us back to turn number 1. And let's have a look as we see a big dive there, actually, from Jack Pittis up the inside of Sam Bradley. And he makes that move through. And he does get that overtake. This is running with Carl Thompson, who was behind it all. And look at that to the left-hand side. Absolutely crazy accident as we see them all come together. It was just, what, 5, 6 wide at that point on the circuit? That was never going to work, as we see 2 cars off. It's Lee Horn, and it's the 57 there of Andrew Pike off the circuit. No, it wasn't, not 57 of Andrew Pike. Yeah, it was Andrew Pike, yep. Comes across into Isaac Doble. Doble goes around, there's the contact, and over they go. Look at that. It's just at that point carnage. Right, back up live then. Let's have a look at what is going on towards the front, because Adam Delmont has found his way to the very front of the field in this one and is leading the way ahead of Toby Cole. Cole managed to make his way past McCain, now has Kieran Sharp behind, as we are chasing down, as Hayden there in the YouTube chat, guess you're not getting the double. It certainly looks that way for race 2. Still have the opportunity with race number 3. If you're able to stay no more than 1 lap down, of course, you can get the inverted pole. Now, Kieran Sharp, though, looking to get the inside of Toby Cole and to the inside of Delmont as well, as they run side by side. And that will be Adam Delmont ahead as Toby Cole disappears from the racing surface. It looks like we may have just had a disconnect, which is a real shame for Toby Cole. who was looking to try and do something in this second race of the day, up towards the timing line, and Delmont and Sharp lead the way here. Is Sharp going to just follow behind? It looks like that is going to be his goal here, is to just stay behind until the end of the race, like we saw in that opening point. Who was that coming out of pit lane? That was Hayden Bramley there, coming out of pit lane, trying to potentially stay within a lap of the race lead. He's 2 laps down at the moment, which means he needs to find some serious pace to get himself back onto a 1 lap down. This is where Delmont is right now. This is where Bradley is. He's got a straight and 2 turns between them. That is going to be a lot of work for him out there. Mark Stevenson has been able to get himself back on track. He remains just 1 lap down at the moment. So as it stands, Stevenson will get the reverse grid pole position. We jump back down the order then, and this is Sam Bradley running around at the moment trying to chase down the field. It looks like Ben Oucher has had an issue into turn number 1. It is contact with the 27 of Sam Smith, and Oucher's opening lap of the race just falls to pieces there. Isaac Doble, he found himself facing the wrong way through turn number 1. He is now on a recovery drive. He's in 8th position overall at the moment and is looking to try and catch up to the fields ahead. The fields ahead are looking like this, with the leading 4 drivers, Delmont, Sharp, McCain and Wharton. McCain getting that pole position from the invert, but here comes Sharp to the inside of Delmont. Delmont will be able to hold that outer line. It will turn to his inside now, and will Wharton be able to follow Delmont on that inside and leave Sharp hung out to try on the outside line? It's certainly what he's trying, but Sharp will have the inside. Coming up towards Hassan Roda here. Sharp on the inside, it turns to the inside of Adam Delmont as well, looking once again for the race lead. Will Wharton make it 3 wide? Surely not on lap number 5, no, but he does push Sharp through into the lead, and now he runs side by side with Adam Delmont through the triple, onto the brakes as we head into turn number 8. It will switch the way of Adam Delmont. Delmont can hold on to second, but the lead now goes the way of Sharp. A big old slide from Ned Wharton there in 3rd position, and Alan McCain leading the Pro-Ams, looking to take his first Pro-Am victory. Can see all of this happening in front of him and is looking to try and do something with this if he can to make his way past, or is he just going to hold on here? Because the Pro-Ams take their points from their class results. The pros take their points from their overall race results. So McCain does not have to do anything here to fight past these leading drivers. If he can just stick with them, as a huge slide through the final turn. I was going to say, if he can stick with them and maintain the gap over Pittas and Cole, whose connection did come back, although he did lose a lot of time, he's back there as Delmont moves past Sharp up towards turn number 1. Sharp will run that side of line, but it will push him out on the exit of 2. Can Wharton be back there? No, they will remain in a single line for now, and it will be, once again, Adam Delmont at the front of the field, as that is Mark Stevenson moving out of the way. He falls 2 laps down, which means Jonathan Berry is currently in the spot to take the reverse grid pole position. As we watch this fight going on, Cole again having some connection issues behind. Sam Smith though wide out of 8, and here comes Isaac Doble on his recovery drive up to 7th position right now, trying to chase down Toby Cole to take a 6th place here. Of course, Doble taking 4th in race 1. Can he get another strong result here as Jamie Dorey moves through into 8th? Ned Wharton and Adam Delmont are side by side as Sharp has moved back into the lead there. Jonathan Berry has had some accidents towards the back. What has just happened towards the front of this one? As Dalmont goes around, Dalmont has gone around in live moment. Adam Dalmont finds himself spinning. We will watch all the way through here as there's the initial overtake. What has happened to Dalmont here as Doble has moved up to 5th because McCain has also fallen? What happened in the final turn here? Dalmont goes to the inside, he loses the rear end and he collects McCain. It was a self-mistake from Dalmont. He collected McCain in it. It's left now Kieran Sharp with a nice strong lead out front, and Toby Cole returns to the lead of the Pro-Ams. Isaac Doble here though looks to the inside to try and get into 4th position again here. Finished race 1 in 4th, and now looking to try and take another 4th position here. As it looks like we might have just momentarily lost Toby Cole from our timing again there. As Andrew Pike and Jamie Dorey have just swapped positions. What's happened to Dorey here? It's contact. It's contact with Sam Smith. Dorey goes around on the entrance to the triples. As Isaac Doble gets the inside of Toby Cole and moves back into 4th position. Remember, Doble was facing the wrong way on the end of lap number 1, turn number 1. He has managed to pull his way back up to 4th, and I wouldn't discount a podium here. It's a little bit of work, but anything and everything does happen in this series. This is a train fighting for the podium in the Pro-Am field. It is being led by Nigel Stock right now, as Stock is going to hold on, looking like we're running 3 wide up towards turn 1. McCain goes through, Stone on the inside, Stock on the outside, will have to back down. Sam Bradley looks to try and do that, but a complete swap in order there as McCain moves on to the podium. George Stone, though, looking to try and get a good exit out of Hotel. He does. He goes to the inside of Hasaroda here. It is side by side with the 78 of Stone up the inside of the 2-1-2. And McCain loses the rear end just a little bit there, and is now able to recover as he looks to the inside. McCain is wanting any position he can get. Contact with the 78 of Stone there. Stone onto the glass ever so slightly. They all face the right way. Stock, though, to the outside of Stone, and Stock moves back into 4th in class ahead of George Stone. The gap for the lead down to 0.2 of a second as we approach the white flag lap here. Kieran Sharp ahead of Ned Wharton. As we come through the final few corners into Bauer Curve now, we are going to look to see what might happen here for the lead. We come through Zeppelin Curve and up to the white flag lap around Oschersleben for the 2nd race of the evening. Oucher out again as Wharton to the inside of Kieran Sharp. Ned Wharton moves to the lead. Sharp looking to try and take another win in the pro class here, but Ned Wharton looking for his first. Wharton holds on out front as it's battles behind. McCain on the outside of Stock through turn number 2 and 3 as we exit Hotel, and it will stay McCain ahead of Stock onto the brakes into Hasaroda. Back to the front because Sharp is to the inside of Wharton through the triple, but Wharton keeps his wheel in for turn number 8. Sharp tries to get down, but Wharton was there. How is the final sector going to go? Pushing it hard through the 9 and 10 into McDonald's here. Sharp gets a good run and gets the speed on Wharton. Wharton immediately goes defensive. Sharp to the outside. Doble trying to keep Cole at bay behind. Sharp goes around the outside of Wharton. Wharton's rear end kicks out. He's looking for the speed now. Through the final 2 corners, we swap over. Sharp to the inside, Wharton to the outside. Sharp holds it, Wharton looks to go to the very inside, through the final turn. Sharp leaves the door open. Will he gather the speed? Yes, he will. Kieran Sharp will just about hang on to the lead of the race ahead of Wharton. Pittas comes in 3rd ahead of Doble. Dalmont will come across the line in 5th. And Sam Smith, did he win the Pro-Ams due to connection issues for Toby Cole? Yes, it looks like it. Which is a real shame because Toby Cole was looking quick out there. But connection issues throughout the race plagued him. And it meant that he came home 5th in class in the end. Before we go through the standings on this one, before we get anything underway, the first thing that I want to do is ride on board with Ben Outra here on lap number 1. This was a real shame that he went out of this because his opening lap was insane from Ben Outra, especially here. You can just see the accident happens and look how fortunate he is. There they all go. But he continues to take advantage, more cars wide, and just look at that from Ben Outra. He went from 21st to 9th in that first section. He then made an overtake later in the lap as well to move up to 8th. We'll stay on board here, fighting it out. It was absolutely phenomenal, that start for Ben Outra, and sometimes starting from the rear of the field is exactly what you need for it all to play out. And that was the overtake I was thinking of on Ned Wharton there. I don't think he got past George Stone in the end on lap number 1, but what a start for Ben Outra. 2 races though that he has finished out of the order for this one, which is a real shame. Right then, let's have a little look as we go back over here to the results from race number 2 of the evening, and it was a win from Kieran Sharp in the end, just holding it over Ned Wharton, which unofficially means he has taken both of the pro victories tonight. Of course, we do expect to see Hayden Bramley promoted to pro. But Kieran Sharp did win that overall one as well. Ned Wharton coming home in 2nd, only just missing out on a win. Jack Pittas coming home in 3rd ahead of Isaac Doble, who recovered from the first lap accident. Adam Delmont recovered from his own issues as well for 5th. Sam Smith came home to win the Pro-Ams after issues before internet with Toby Cole, which means that Sam Smith is the first double winner in the Pro-Am field as well. Alan McCain came home in 2nd in the end after the contact with Delmont. Nigel Stott came home in 3rd in class ahead of Sam Bradley and Toby Cole. 11th overall went the way of Lee Horn ahead of George Stone. Jamie Dory came home in 13th ahead of Andrew Pike ahead of Phil McDougall, William Kurtler, Carl Thompson, Jonathan Berry, Mark Stevenson, and came down a lap down. Ben Outra retiring in the end. And then Hayden Bramley at the back. What that does mean is that Mark Stevenson, who only finished a lap down in the end, will start the final race on pole position. Now we have just enough time to have a word with one driver after that one. And in fact, I am going to pull across Isaac Doble here, who found himself facing the wrong way at the start of that race, but you managed to recover for another 4th place result. How was that race for you?
Yeah, well, that was probably one of the more enjoyable race, barring obviously the first lap. It was a good fight through the pack, some enjoyable battles, and managed to come over another P4.
Well, it means that race number 3, you'll be starting all the way back towards the rear of the field. You've got another set of drivers to try and get through. Some more battling. How are you feeling about that one? Because you've got most of the field that you're going to need to work your way through now.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll be able to pick pick them off one by one. Obviously, it's a slightly longer race, this one being 25 minutes, so there's quite a lot of time to get through the drivers and see how high up the grid I can end up.
Right, well, good luck for race number 3, Isaac. Let's see if you can go for 3 in a row with the 4th, but I'm sure you'll be wanting more than that.
Yeah, a podium would be nice. Thank you.
Good luck, Isaac. Right, coming home in 4th yet again there. He will be starting, if I'm doing my maths correctly, in about 18th position, I think, in the final race of the day. But we will have one more race coming your way then, so make sure you don't go anywhere here on Next Gen, because we've got the long 25-minute race heading your way in just a moment's time. So don't go anywhere. for the final race of the evening around the Oschersleben circuit in Germany. It has been 2 great races so far, and I'm gonna jinx it, I'm sure, but we are yet to see the safety car find its way down onto the track. But race number 3, we are going to see a completely inverted field, which means that we are going to see some, I expect, a little bit more of what we saw at turn number 1 in the second race of asking. Of course, we spoke to Isaac Dobel, who was involved in that contact. He said it was a great race with having to move through the field. It didn't quite go the same way for Hayden Bramley, who found himself upside down in that first turn, and meaning that he also fell a couple of laps down, which means that he will not be included in the invert, and instead Bramley will be having to try and take a second win from the very rear of the field. Not impossible, especially in a league as versatile as this, but it will certainly be a challenge. We have a couple of minutes left here in the warm-up session before we get going green, as I knocked my camera out of place earlier on. There we go, as you saw the end of the brand new studio over there. As we are going to be heading out for the 3rd race of the day. It is the longest race of them all, almost double in length, but not quite, which means that the 3rd race, drivers do have a bit more time to find their way through the order. So, for our race 2 winner, Kieran Sharp, who will be starting this race almost at the very rear of the field, he's going to have a lot more laps to find his way back through the field. Now, of course, he finished 2nd overall in race 1. He won race number 2 overall, which means that Sharp has proved he can find his way through the field here. It's not something that is impossible to do in these cars around this track. It's going to be tricky though, especially if we see something like turn number 1 happen again. But we are going to have a look then at the grid in just a moment's time, because warm-up is about to come to a close, and we are preparing to start our 3rd and final race of the evening. If you were watching over on the YouTube channel and you haven't already done so, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you watch you can catch all of the NXTGEN events that go on. Every other Tuesday is the Legends. On the off weeks from the Legends, you get the NXTCC that will be broadcast at the same time on a Tuesday, and coming soon on Thursdays will be the 9th season of the GT3 Championship as well. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button over on the YouTube. If you're watching over on the Facebook, make sure that you have followed that Facebook page as well. And no matter where you are, hit that like button, you've shared it, you've done everything you can do. And of course, if you're watching over on the Twitch as well, make sure you hit that follow button so you'll be notified whenever we go live for any of the broadcasts that we have over there. Right, let's go down onto the track then here for our final race of the day, and let's see how this grid is going to line themselves up for the final race. As we mentioned, Mark Stevenson finished only a lap down in race 1. He will find himself on pole position for race number 2 after finding himself upside down on lap 1 in race 2. It is a complete flip the script for Stevenson. Jonathan Berry will be starting in the front row as well, and on 2nd place ahead of Carl Thompson and William Kurtler. Phil McDougall will be starting in 5th position, and Andrew Pike will be the highest of the pros in 6th. 7th will be for Jamie Dorey ahead of George Stone. 9th will be for Lee Horn, and Toby Cole, after having connection issues in race number 2 that cost him the Pro-Am victory, he came home in what was 5th in class. He will start this one in 10th. Sam Bradley will start in 11th, ahead of Nigel Stock, and the 7th row of the grid will go the way of Alan McCain and Sam Smith. We then see the pros come in full force. Adam Delmont will start in 15th, ahead of Isaac Doble, who will need to recover from 16th place here if he wants to get onto that podium that he was hoping for. Jack Pittis will start from 17th, ahead of Ned Wharton. Kieran Sharp from 19th position, and Hayden Bramley, the only driver to miss out on the invert, will start in 20th behind Kieran Sharp, who he raced with very hard in race number 1. Craig Twardock has not been able to take part in the first 2 races of the evening. However, he is able to jump in for the final race of the day. So Craig Twardock will be starting at the very rear of the field here, which will be in 21st position, as we do lose Ben Outra after a couple of issues for him throughout the evening. Right then, drivers are about to get going on their formation lap. There we go. As we don't want the time, we want the laps. It is going to be 15 laps of asking here at Oschersleben for the final race of the day. So after 2 9-lap races, drivers have a little bit more time to spare out there to see what they can do. And is that Craig Twardock? It is Twardock who's not got off the line there. There we go. He gets moving, warming up his tyres. But Twardock gets moving at the very back of the field there as we watch the cars come through the opening corners. They're learning how to do this side by side at a slower pace, so that next lap when they come around, they'll be hoping that they can do it without contact. Race number 1 was extremely clean, of course. Everyone starting in a qualifying order, but when you do put those inverts in, there are faster drivers towards the rear of the field, and some of the drivers that aren't as fast towards the front. It does mean that there are drivers pushing to try and make any position that they can. But it doesn't mean that any of those drivers towards the front has to just lay down and let the position go. That's same it goes for the fact that we've got 2 classes out there, the pros and the pro-ams. The pro-ams, they do take their result, their points in the championship from their class results. So even if they finished 11th, if it was first in class, they'd get the points for the win. The pros, however, the reason they want to make it past the pro-ams as quickly and as safely as possible is because the pros take their points from their overall race position. So if they finish 11th behind 5 pro-ams, they get the points for 11th position, not for their 6th place class result. That is key for our pro drivers, which means the pro-ams, they are fighting for glory with those results, but they do not have to just lay down and let the pro drivers through. The pro drivers need to make those overtakes done themselves on the track when they see the opportunity arise. We head up now towards Shell Curve and Aman Curve. The safety car of Gaza has not been out on the track this evening. We are hoping it will stay that way for the next 15 laps. The pace truck, however, is about to leave the racing surface for the 3rd time tonight as it kicks off the racing around the Oschersleben track. All 21 cars have found their way into this bundle after getting off the grid a little bit slowly for Twardock. There, the pace truck is pulling out onto the pit lane, and we await the green flag here for 15 laps of racing. The green is out, and we are go up to turn number 1 as drivers fly by. There's already an accident along the pit straight before we've even reached turn number 1. There was an accident along the pit straight, 2 cars involved in that one. Looked like it was Ned Wharton and Jack Pittas perhaps, but it is 3-4 wide into turn number 2 and 3. And they all get through cleanly this time through the turns. Jonathan Berry leads the way out front ahead of Andrew Pike. And the rest of the field all coming in behind. Looks like they are going to go 3 wide ahead. A little bit of a wobble as off the track there goes Carl Thompson. He falls down the order. It was initial contact there with Toby Cole. side by side for Doble and Bramley here. Bramley looking to try and take the win from the back of the field. He's to the inside of Doble, looking to take 10th position away from him, and he does at the moment. Delmont up to 13th as he gets past Toby Cole as well, and they all settle themselves down in front. Behind, however, there's a little bit of a nudge there, and that's the 23 of Kieran Sharp having a wobble after contact with Twardock, I believe. Up front though, and Andrew Pike moves his way into the lead of the race as Barry looks for a slightly alternate line. It was different lines from McDougall and Bradley behind as well, and onto the gravel there was Lee Horn. Contact with Nigel Stock, but Horn keeps the inside line and will regain that position. McCain touches the gravel there, and Delmont goes to the inside. Hayden Bramley looking to try and follow through on that inside line as well, but they are going to go 3 wide up towards turn number 1 as Berry moves back into the lead past Pike. How is this going to work out? It's almost 4 wide behind, but they settle themselves down. Is it going to stay clean? As that is contact behind them, and McCain was one of them. No, it wasn't. It was Smith. Smith was one of those drivers who's just went around there as Bramley falls back behind Delmont there. What happened to Smith? It looks like it was contact with Stock perhaps, and it was the 90 there going into the rear end from Nigel Stock. It certainly was, as now Smith is back in with a fight. Jonathan Berry is not giving up this race lead, however, and wanting to hold on to it as we see if Pike is able to do anything at this early stage, and right this second he can't. What happened then through the final turn? This is on the race start. This is with Wharton. Was it? It was Pittas. Pittas just pulls across to the side. It was in contact as well for Bramley, and Bramley is down to 20th. Something has happened to Bramley whilst we were just checking out the start of that race. Here it is. He's got around by himself. It looks like, or was it contact with Lee Horn? Lee Horn's to his inside. There was, but it looked like Netco certainly looked like they were a little bit far apart, just a little bit of a nudge there. As it goes 3 wide once more for the lead and for 4th. Jamie Dorey to the inside towards turn 1 to take the lead in this one. Berry is doing his absolute best to try and hold on to the lead of this race, and he is at the moment. Jonathan Berry holds on, and around goes George Stone. That's Lee Horn onto the grass to avoid. As Delmont gets past his teammate Sam Bradley and moves into 7th position, is Berry just going to be able to keep everyone at bay? Because right now, he is certainly looking like he is going to be able to keep them at bay. He's been doing a great job so far in these opening laps. He's able to keep the charging pro drivers behind him right now as we come through turn number 8. This train of drivers, though, stretches all the way down to 15th position, which is all the way to where cars have really started to have some major issues in this race. It's side by side once more. Andrew Pike to the inside of Berry. Pike regains the lead, but Berry is right on him and will look at for another overtake up towards turn number 1, I am sure, as we come through the final turn. He looks to the inside, and it's contact with Berry and Pike. Pike goes around, has to get himself sorted, and it's a gaggle of cars facing the wrong way and getting involved. More cars getting caught up there through the final turn, as the leading 4 drivers are the ones that have come out unscathed. Dorey, Doble, Delmont and Berry, who hit Pike. We need to see that from another angle to see what exactly happened there, but Pike trying to recover here, has Pittas to his inside. Pittas does a big old slide there, but does keep it facing the right way, side by side behind between Cole and Twardock. Twardock looking to try and hold it on the outside line. Can't quite do it there. Will have to remain behind at the moment. Let's see if we can have a look at that last accident there. It was to the inside. Oh, that's a difficult one to call from the commentary booth, so I won't call it. Then there was the additional spin there, and then more cars just getting involved, and that was almost up and over there for the 774 of Kyle Thompson. Back live then, and Delmont now looking to try and get past Isaac Doble. Doble said he wanted a podium. He's in a perfect position for that podium. Can he keep it here? Can he keep Berry behind in this one? There's no reason for Jonathan Berry to keep on fighting with these drivers at the front, because Berry is at the moment going to take full points for leading and winning the Pro-Am class if it finishes this way. Up to the timing line, and there's contact behind, and there's Sam Bradley around. It's Wharton around as well. They get themselves sorted though, but what has happened between those, as it's the 32 as well involved of William Kurtler. Here's the contact, Wharton to the inside. Oh, do you know what? Smith started to lose the inside line. What happened there to Kurtler? Smith has started to lose, there was already being lost on the inside line, and Kurtler just loses himself. And it was just a slide and then contact. I think that was just an unfortunate racing incident there that caused all of that one, with the rear end just kicking in a little bit. But here comes Delmont to the inside of Isaac Doble. He will get stuck on the outside line through turn number 8 here, and it could invite Jonathan Berry back into it, as Delmont's rear end just kicks out a little bit there. He keeps it going straight though, and they do remain in line for the time being as we go through the back end of the track. I said Smith's name by accident earlier. That's because I saw that he had an accident. He went around on the exit of Hotel, and we'll need to recover from that one. This is your leading fight at the front of the field though. Jamie Dorey is in the front of your field. He leads Isaac Doble. Adam Delmont runs around in third, and it is the leader of the Pro-Am fields, Jonathan Berry, chasing down behind at the moment. He can see these leading 3 drivers in front of him. Can Berry do anything with this? What is it going to happen in front of him with 10 more laps to go? Are we going to see Delmont looking to try and take second again? No. They remain single file, and that just keeps Berry within touching distance of them, because they just weren't fighting up towards one here. Berry slightly tighter line there, but the door did not open enough for him to get up the inside of Adam Delmont there, and will have to remain behind for now, as this is your closest fight out on the track at the moment. It is Jamie Dorey ahead of Doble. Will Doble stay behind or look to take the lead? He stays behind. It was the play that we saw early on in the race as well. You want to be behind towards the end of the race, because it will give you the best opportunity onto the last lap of the race to make those moves. 2 teammates here of Kieran Sharp, Andrew Pike, both of them having issues in this race, and both of them trying to recover from it. 10th and 11th overall they run, and Pike chasing down Sharp as he heads through 9 and 10 and up into McDonald's here, back towards the leading cars, though those gaps came down tantalisingly close to nothing, but that's just because they were each, by the looks of it, giving each other a push. Hayden Bramley on a recovery here. He started at the rear of the field. He also had issues as well, but he is up right now to 4th in the Pro-Am class. 7th overall, and he goes to the inside of Toby Cole, as Cole has an issue through the exit of the penultimate turn, and Hayden Bramley moves into 6th position overall. He is 7 seconds off of the fight for the lead. It is almost untouchable, but is it untouchable as a big accident in the background there? Who was that? It was George Stone. Just that rear left wheel caught the gravel there, and Stone slams into the wall as Twadok has had an issue. Contact! Contact with his teammate of Kieran Sharp. Sends Twardock spinning at turn 2. Sam Smith has an issue as well. What's happened to him out of the final turn? And exactly the same as what we saw a moment ago. Just the rear left tyre catching that gravel and just sending these cars around. Sam Bradley here trying to get into 6th in class past Nigel Stock. They're running 14th and 15th overall in this race, and they've just come out of turn 8 into 9 and 10 and towards McDonald's right now in their class fight, as that was Toby Cole dropping behind Jack Pittas as Pittas moves up the order, and Cole Cole is showing really good pace out there. It's just a shame that he's having some technical issues causing that car to drop back ever so slightly every few laps or so, costing him the win obviously in race 1. And Dalmont's around! Dalmont and Berry! Dalmont and Berry are around. Has there been contact? As Berry for a second time this race takes out a pro driver through the final turn. This time he is severely impacted. That is a shame for them both. Berry looked to try and take 3rd in the race, and it just meant that both he and Dalmont have fallen down the order. What that does mean is Hayden Bramley is into 4th overall. McCain currently onto an overall podium after losing out in race 2 because of contact with Dalmont. Yeah, it was contact with Dalmont. But the lead fight now is reduced to just Jamie Dorey and Isaac Doble. Drivers that have, these two drivers have created partnerships in the past where they've helped each other out on tracks that require a lot of slipstream, just giving each other a bit of a tow, making sure they're getting the lap times in. That partnership is going to be tested here tonight because they are going to be going at it here around the Oschersleben circuit, especially with the next closest driver being a Pro-Am driver 5 seconds back. Twardock slow here as it's side by side up ahead of Sam Bradley trying to get past Ned Wharton, but here comes Stock to make it 3 wide. Stock on the outside of Wharton. Wharton will keep it to the inside, and Will Wharton now look to the inside of the final turn. He does. It's a slide from Sam Bradley as well as Bramley moves into the lead of the Pro-Am's 3rd overall. It is side by side here as now Bradley moves, falls down the order. Looks like he's going to be losing behind Twardock as well, but Twardock's going to have to do it on the outside. He backs out of it there. How did Bramley make this move through past McCain? It looked like it was a turn 1 move for Hayden Bramley, who started this race in 20th position after retiring race number 2. As Thompson will have to visit pit lane. A nice easy move there for Hayden Bramley. Has McCain behind, but Bramley now, he was 7 seconds off of the race lead. He is now 4 seconds off of the race lead. This win is not off the cards for Hayden Bramley right now. Sam Bradley is off the track, as is Craig Twardock there. Something happened between the two of them. Twardock on the outside, Bradley on the inside. It's a slight nudge and around goes Twardock. Bradley moves out of the way, I think, to give that position back. He certainly does. Bradley has given that position back to Twardock there. As this is Kieran Sharp fighting with Adam Delmont. It's 8th overall. It's only 4th in class, but they take their points from their overalls. So right now, Sharp wanting to get into 8th place past Delmont. He moves to the outside. Will Pike be able to do something behind as well? Looks to push his teammate. It certainly does. Delmont gets back to the racing line. Pike backs out of it. Sharp backs out of it for the time being as well. And Hayden Bramley's gap is down to 3 seconds. Hayden Bramley out there easily is going to be a pro driver next time out at Nürburgring, but he could actually go to take the win here from what was pretty much the rear of the field. He is closing on Doble and Dory right now. We return to the fight for 8th between Delmont, Sharp and Pike, as Delmont is trying to close up to Jonathan Berry here. Of course, Berry was the driver that hit Delmont in the rear right quarter panel through the final turn, causing them both to go round. And I say that Andrew Pike's in this fight as well, and he also had the same sort of incident with Berry. Berry ran very wide there out of McDonald's and will invite Delmont to his inside, and Delmont shows that was not on from Adam Delmont. That is not something you want to see in a league race like this. Adam Delmont displeased with Berry with the contact earlier on, but I don't think the wreck was intentional, definitely not, but the contact certainly was. And it caused Berry to get unsettled there and lose that position. Delmont now under attack from Kieran Sharp here. Sharp runs the outside line, trying to get the speed on the exit. Perhaps a huge slide from Pike, but keeps it together. Still looking at this gap here for Hayden Bramley. It's 2.5 seconds. He is closing down towards that lead fight, which has swapped, by the way. Isaac Doble has found his way past Jamie Dory. That was done last lap, and this is how that was done. Through turn 8, Doble running a nice line. Actually, it wasn't quite through turn 8. It was a little bit later on here. It looks like through the exit of McDonald's. Through the chicane they go. Dory not quite getting the same amount of speed as Doble there. It was exit of McDonald's and up towards Shell Curve. We were watching the fight going on behind at this point. Doble to the inside of Dory. Dory doesn't fight it. Allows Doble through for now. And with 5 laps to go, coming up to 4 laps to go, Dory will be thinking behind is better. Going up to the end of this one, McDougall has just found himself going around as Berry spins himself. McDougall is then spun by, I'm trying to figure out who it was here, Nigel Stock, I believe, that then had that contact as Stock was trying to avoid Berry. He's moved to the left and just a little bit of contact there. Here comes Sharp though to get past Adam Delmont to the outside, getting help from Andrew Pike. Delmont will go into turn number 1, has to leave the door open into turn 2. That allows Sharp up the inside. Pike tries to close into it. He's not going to quite be there through the corner though, and Delmont just loses the 1 position down to 8th for now, but looks to regain it on the outside of turn 4 through Hasserode here. And he can't quite do it, pushing onto the grass ever so slightly. Really had to go defensive as for a moment there, Pike looked to the inside just a little bit, but did not make that move through. We ride on board with Andrew Pike, chasing down Delmont and Sharp. Bramley now only 1.9 seconds behind the race lead. It is not out of the question for Bramley, but with the tyres now going, it looks like this could be a real challenge for Hayden Bramley to be able to get onto the rear of Dory or Doble in this one. As that's to the inside of Sharp goes Adam Delmont as we head into Shell Curve, and Delmont will hold that position and places it perfectly ahead of Pike and Sharp, that he will be able to hold that position right now in 7th place. Through the penultimate turn of Bauer Kerr and up towards Zeppelin now, and they remain all clean. Jamie Dory pushing Isaac Doble up towards turn number 1, and it looks like Craig Twaddock has had an issue. He certainly has. He spins it around through the exit of turn, I believe that was turn 11 of McDonald's. As we have a look where, yeah, it was turn 11 of McDonald's there for Twaddock and his spin. Oh, and off the circuit there goes Andrew Pike as we come back there. Big old kick out on the rear end. He does manage to get it all sorted once again as we go into Hasselrode there. But Delmont having to keep down the two teammates of Sharp and Pike and keep them behind for now. Bramley down to 1.4 seconds, 1.3 seconds behind Jamie Dory right now. He can see this lead fight. We're coming up to 2 laps to go. I would say he's in it. I would say Hayden Bramley is very much in the fight for the win here, as he can see Dory and Doble just up ahead. Bramley had that pace. We saw it in practice. We saw it in qualifying. We saw it in race 1. Bramley really has serious pace out there. He's just got to try and close it down as Delmont and Sharp are side by side. Sharp is ahead momentarily. Goes sideways there. Delmont keeps it together. Will we retake 7th position for now? With that huge slide from Kieran Sharp. Bramley now looks to take past Jamie Dory and moves past Jamie Dory for 2nd position. 2 laps to go, and Hayden Bramley is just 0.7 of a second away from his 2nd win here. As Sharp goes deep into 1 to get to the inside of Delmont. He does so and regains 7th position in this fight, but once again, Delmont will not take it lying down. He looks to the outside. He cannot hold it there for now and will stay behind for the time being. George Stone and Sam Smith swap positions up towards turn 1, and Smith even looks at the potential move past Twaddock. Can't do anything with that right now. Delmont all over the rear of Kieran Sharp. Nothing doing right now as William Kurtler has big issues through the penultimate turn, goes sideways and spins that machine as he gets it back going again for the end of this race. As we continue on to fight, the positions keep on changing from 6th because of Cole's internet connection, but we are back to the lead fight because Hayden Bramley has closed the gap down to 0.2 of a second here. Isaac Doble came from pretty much the rear of the field with Hayden Bramley here. Both of them starting towards the back. Doble wanted the podium. He can still get it. Will Bramley be able to go for the win here? He moves through on the white flag lap. Hayden Bramley flies into the lead of the race around Oschersleben in the 3rd and final race of the day. It's 3 wide, or going to be potentially up towards turn 1. Yes, it is, as the 2 teammates go side by side. A momentary bit of contact. Pike on the rear of Sharp just keeps keeps Delmont ahead for now. Hayden Bramley leading out of Isaac Doble. Can Doble set it up at the end of this lap to regain the lead of this race? Doble took 1 win last week. It was in the 2nd race of asking. Can he take a win this week as well? We head through turn number 9 and 10 up to McDonald's. Doble looks to the inside of Bramley. Bramley holds on to it for now and will stay just ahead, but Doble looks towards the inside. There's contact. The whole car squirrels, and Doble has to drop behind. Can he set something up in through the final few corners? It looks like Bramley might get this, but Doble can make a last-ditch effort, surely, as Bramley goes defensive. Doble takes the wider entrance, but the speed will not be there. Hayden Bramley takes the 2 race wins. Doble takes 2nd ahead of Dory, and McCain will come home in 4th ahead of Jack Pitt as Toby Cole will his internet drop him out of a Pro-Am podium. No, he holds it as Delmont just keeps ahead of Sharp. Pike coming home behind as well, as there is a collection of cars towards the rear of the field here. George Stone looking to try and get past Craig Twardock. Up towards the final turn. Stone looks to the inside. There's just enough room for him. He won't make the move though, and he will stay behind. But Hayden Bramley moves to the race victory from what was 20th position on the grid. Bramley's pace was unreal. Absolute masterclass of driving from Hayden Bramley there. What a victory. And with that, let's have a look at our results here around the Oschersleben circuit. Hayden Bramley takes his second class and overall victory. I am 100% certain we will be seeing Bramley in the pro class next week. Isaac Doble just wasn't enough to take the victory here. He was able to come home in second though, and he did want that podium, so he got it. Jamie Dorey coming home in third ahead of Alan McCain. Jack Pittes came home in fifth ahead of Toby Cole, who was not demoted due to internet this time, which is lovely. He does take a podium in class. Adam Delmont took home seventh ahead of Kieran Sharp and Andrew Pike, and Lee Horn rounded out your top 10. Mark Stevenson came home in 11th position ahead of Ned Wharton. Nigel Stott crossed the line in 13th, and 14th went the way of Sam Bradley. Craig Twardock came home in 15th position in the end ahead of George Stone. Sam Smith came home in 17th. Phil McDougall in 18th position ahead of William Kurtler, and then out of the race was Jonathan Berry and Carl Thompson, both of them leaving the race early, unfortunately. But we are going to see if we can have a quick chat with any of our drivers after that one, as it was a race to remember for quite a few of them out there. And we will, in fact, see if we can pull in Jamie here, who managed to come home on a podium in that race. Jamie, you were in the lead for a while. How did you find race number 3?
Yeah, it was all right. It was quite a slippery, loose track, so it was. It wasn't the best for me. You know, it was just managing with what you had, and it's very easy to burn the tires up. So a few moments where the tires leading made it really slippery, and don't think it had the overall pace at the end. Isaac done the long game there.
Certainly did wait the way for Isaac towards the end of that one. And then, of course, we saw Hayden come from all the way at the back of the field to storm through. Now, I am almost confident that he will be pro next week with his domination drive today. But how are you feeling about the rest of the calendar? We've got some great tracks coming up. Of course, Nürburgring in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think we've got a good calendar and everything. Obviously, looking forward to it. Looking forward to higher numbers. This track's always been a bit of a low number track, and I don't know why. In every series we've ever ran, but you know, I think still having a solid 20 car grid is pretty good. Yeah, I've had some. We'll need to review a few laps from a few drivers there, because I've had private messages from the race director with regards to track limits and things, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's been a good night's racing, I think.
Certainly was. It was a really good night racing, and I'm sure we will continue to see some great battles throughout this season. Well done on your overall podium, Jamie.
Cheers, Joseph. Thank you, mate.
Jamie Dory that coming home in third at the end of that one. And looking over on the chat there, yep, Hayden saying, I told you I would do the cooler thing, which was come from the back of the grid to go all the way through to the front of the field. That's exactly what he did. A great race indeed. And it has been a fantastic evening of racing, as we always see at NXTGEN, and these legends are absolutely fantastic to get down onto the track and to race. And if you have enjoyed what you've seen, then please do head across to the NXTGEN's Discord, which we will sort the links out for, so you can head across, get yourself down and signed up for the Legends Series. We've only done 2 rounds so far. We still have 8 more to go. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time at the Nürburgring. Of course, some great tracks coming your way throughout this season. If you are watching over on the Facebook or the YouTube, make sure you hit that follow button, you follow the page, you subscribe to the channel, you've hit the like buttons as well. That way you'll catch all of the racing action that goes on at Next Gen. In addition to the Legends, obviously every other Tuesday we also see the NXTCC in the Touring Car Series, and we will see the return of the GT3 Championship on Thursdays as well. So do make sure you're hitting all those follows and subscribe buttons, and if you are watching on the unofficial broadcast over on the Twitch channel, make sure you hit the follow button there as well, and you will be notified of all of the races that we broadcast over there. But from here at Next Gen and the Legends Series, we are done for the week, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time at Nürburgring on February 17th. So until then, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic time racing. I'll do whatever it is you like to do, and we will be back for round number 3 at the Nürburgring in a couple of weeks. So until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Goodbye.